For this section, we are going to focus on what we call measures of central tendency. Measures of central tendency. So we're going to, throughout this course, be looking at two types of statistics. The first one is descriptive statistics. These, quite literally, describe what your data looks like, describe the distribution, and sometimes the relationship among variables. The second type of statistics is inferential statistics. These are used to make predictions or to test a hypothesis. For this particular section that you're listening to now, we're going to be looking at some types of descriptive statistics, not all of them, but we'll be looking at some of them. We will not be looking at inferential statistics in this section right now. Essentially, we're going to focus on what we call the measures of central tendency, and you may have heard of these before as mean, median, and mode. The mean, many people know, is what we call an average of all the observations. So it can be computed by adding up the value of all of your observations and dividing by the total number of cases. You see the formula there, but also a note that sometimes you will see mean represented by what we call X bar. X bar is the X with the line over it. So a number of years ago, I had a class where there were 7 students, and I asked them each to complete some surveys for me. And on the survey, I asked their age. And so they indicated their age here. And I'm going to ask you to pause the video and see if you can calculate the mean age of the class. And if you're back from pausing, the answer that you should have received or should have found is 27.5 is the mean age of the class. And you would get that by adding up all of the ages and dividing by 7. Now, in contrast to the mean, the median is the score that is in the middle of a ranked order distribution. So to determine the median, you have to first put your data in order from lowest to highest and identify the middle score. That's the step that some people sometimes forget. They find the middle score without first putting the data in order. So if you have an even number of observations, you're going to find out that you actually have 2 numbers in the middle. And if that happens, you can just add the 2 numbers together and divide by 2. Essentially, you're finding the mean of your 2 medians, if that makes sense. So again, we see here the ages of the students in my class. And I'll ask you again to pause the video while you put the data first in order and then find the midpoint. And then the answer you should have received, 27. The last measure of central tendency that we're going to look at for this section is the mode. And the mode is the most frequent observation in the data set. So here again, you see the same set of numbers, and I'm going to ask you to pause and see if you can identify what the mode is, the most frequent observation. And what you should have found is 24. 24 appears twice, so it's the most frequent observation in this data set.